Hello. If this is the first time on my channel, my name is Marian and I'm a labor and delivery nurse. On my channel, I talk about nursing. I do some cooking videos. I also do some vlogging. So if these are some of the things that you enjoy and are interested in, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel, please. And you can also go ahead and please like this video. And don't forget to drop your comments below if you have any, okay? Okay, let's get into today's video. So today I'm going to talk about my experience with dealing with an IUFD, which is intrauterine fetal demise or stillborn. For most people, when you hear L&D, all we think about is, the excitement of bringing a baby into this world. But not every day is so joyful on the labor and delivery unit. There's so many days when we get to take care of these types of patients going through this big loss. And as much as it is sad for the families, it's also, something that we go through. I mean, it's not all about us, but it's very, very hard dealing with this as well. All right. So IUFD is when a fetus dies over greater than 20 weeks. All right. Because after 20 weeks, the baby is considered viable. So when the fetus dies over 20 weeks, that's what IUFD is. The main cause is really not known, but there are several factors that they think contributes to this. All right, some of which include maybe placental insufficiency, fetal infection, umbilical cord complications, chromosomal abnormalities, just to name a few. So this can happen to anyone. It can happen at any time during your pregnancy. And it's just a very, very sensitive time on the unit when we have an IUFD patient. So going into labor and delivery, I knew we would, be taking care of these types of patients, dealing with this situation. But you're just never prepared for something like this. During orientation, I didn't get to, take care of a patient that was going through that. But of course, my preceptor had gone through the whole process and how you deal with palliative care and all that. So I kind of knew what to do, but I didn't think I was mentally prepared for when I will actually have to, be the nurse caring for that mom. So one day I went to the floor. I was scheduled to work and I got there on our assignment board. I saw my name next to this patient that came in. She was referred from clinic, came in at 21 weeks and 6 days, and went to, her normal regular prenatal checkup. And it was during that time that they didn't hear the baby's heartbeat. And so the doctor referred her to the hospital for induction so that she can, deliver this child. And once I saw my name, I was like, I mean, nobody really wants to, have this just because of everything else that is involved. When you look at that family member and you see the sadness, the frustration, and everything that they're going through, it just makes it so hard. But at the end of the day, our goal is to support them and, be there for them and just not make it all about you at that moment. It's really about the patient. So you want to make sure that you do your best, which is what made it hard for me, because once I saw that, I went into the bathroom and I was just crying, because I'm like, God, how am I going to, even deal with this whole thing? I am so emotional, guys. Like, if you know me, the smallest thing can make me cry. So I was like, okay, I just said, God, this, just give me the strength, give me the courage to be able to help this mom to the best of my ability and be there for her and not, make her feel any type of way. I just said a quick prayer. I dried my tears, took a deep breath, and then I went in to get report. And when I got into the room, the nurse that had the patient was actually at the bedside. So when I got in there, the patient, just looked at me with, a faint smile. And I just said, hello, my name, I introduced myself. And she didn't really look, that sad. Of course, it's a grieving process. Sometimes it doesn't really hit you, and when these types of patients come in, we do not put the baby on the monitor, because what are you listening for? There's no heartbeat, so we just, she was already getting Pitocin, which is a medication that they give sometimes to induce labor. So she was already on that medication, and we just had to keep increasing it. And of course, at this time, pain management is a big thing, because you want to be able to control that pain as much as you can, because they're not going to be able to hold this baby. So you don't want them to be going through this, excruciating pain. Of course, there's going to be pain, but you want to try to relieve that pain as much as possible. So offering medication and giving medication is also very important. So my patient, the reason why this was also so hard was because she has a history of PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So with these type of patients, they already have difficulty getting pregnant, because their cycle is very irregular. They struggle with ovulation and all of that. So, and she had, I think this was like her 4th pregnancy that she was losing the child. The previous ones, she said she had a miscarriage. So I just couldn't. I'm like, whoa, how can, someone go through so much? Anyway, I went in after I got report, introduced myself, and then all of a sudden we just started to talk. And mostly what I wanted to do was just listen. And I asked her just important questions during my assessment. Nothing, that's gonna take so long, just the necessary things that I needed to do at that moment. I just asked her some quick questions, did my initial assessment, my vitals and stuff, and then she just started to tell me her story, and she said, I don't want you to feel bad. This is like my 4th time going through this, and I was just hoping and praying that this child survives, because I think the last few pregnancies that she lost were all less than 20 weeks. So she was really hopeful that this one, once it made it past 20 weeks, she was really hopeful that this baby was going to make it. And she said, and this child also had some chromosomal abnormalities, trisomy 21, clubfoot, baby had all that stuff. So I just listened and let her just tell me her story. She just kept explaining, talking, and telling me everything. And during this whole time, she wasn't really sad. So I just tried to sit there not looking all miserable and sad myself, because as a nurse, when you care for, such patients and, this sensitive period, you're so, you don't know if you're doing too much, you don't know if you're not doing enough. So it's always, this imbalance. It's like, God, I don't want to go in there acting like, doing all these things to make the patient feel better. Sometimes you can't, there's nothing really you can do to make this situation better, because the patient is already going through a loss, and you have to let them grieve, because that's the only way they're going to recover and get through this. And I don't think anyone ever recovers from losing a child, period. But there are things that they have to go through the process to help them get better, at least, because every birthday, you're going to remember this day. And so I was just like in between. So I just did my best, make sure I gave my medications on time, my pain medications on time. And I was just asking her if she needed anything, to let me know. And I would give her, time periodically, just to have her space, her privacy, and whatever she needed. So once, I think it was about 3 a.m., I had just given her pain medicine, and you could tell that she was contracting more, and she was in so much more pain. So, and they didn't check her frequently either, because, they just want the whole process to just happen. So then I called the doctor, and I said, the patient, appears to be in so much pain. Do you just want to go in and check on her and see what is going on? So the doctor came in, checked. She said she was okay, nothing really. And once he came out, I was sitting at the nurse's station, and then we just heard this scream, and one of the other nurses just ran in. Next thing we know, the baby was just coming out. The patient, was in delivery. And so everybody just came in. We pushed the staff assist button. Everyone came in. We helped deliver the baby. And now this is like the hardest part. I asked her, did she want to hold the child, because you can't just put the baby on them. Not everybody is ready. So you always have to make sure you're asking, see what they're ready for. So we asked her, did she want to hold the child? And she said yes. So we put the baby on her chest. 21 and 6 weeks. Baby was very tiny. So she held the baby probably for a few minutes, and then she said, can we take baby away? So we took the baby to the warmer and just wrapped the baby. Going through the palliative care now, getting, mom to hold the baby, do all this, take care. So I just went into our supply room and got some stuff. Baby couldn't really fit into any of the clothing that we have, so we just got like a tiny diaper. We got like a hat, something like a little blanket, just to put the baby, kind of make the baby presentable for mom to hold for whatever period. Take pictures. We usually take pictures and make like a memory box for the families, so that they can take home something they have to remember their child. And if so, part of the paperwork that you do, you have to fill everything out and call life gift. A lot of the times, if it's a bigger baby, they will call and come talk to mom if they want to donate organs. but this baby was just very small. They couldn't really use any of this, but we still have to call anyway and give them the patient's information, time of birth and everything. They will decide whether, you know, they can come in or not. Depends on the gestational age of the baby. And we also had to call the medical examiner. So I did all this, and later on came in and asked her, did she feel ready though? So I just told her, I'm like, just let me know whenever you feel ready to take the baby back if you want to, and if you don't, it's totally okay. So when she was ready, I came in the room and she asked me, can she hold the baby? And then I said, sure. So I gave her back the baby and she held the baby. At this point, I guess it finally hit her, because right after she had the baby, there were so many people in the room. But at this time, it was just me and her alone in the room with the baby. So it finally hit her, and then she just started to cry. So I tried so hard to hold my tears back, but this was just so hard. So I went close to her and I just kind of gave her a hug and just like pat her hand, and then I left her and I told her to call me if you need anything. I put the call bell next to her and then I walked out of the room because I wanted to give her, you know, time alone with her child. So it was getting close towards the end of my shift now, and I could tell she wasn't ready to let go. And we can let them, you know, hold your child for, I think they have a few hours or so, but they can hold the child for as long as they want. When the day nurse came in, I just explained everything, and I told her that all the paperwork has been completed, the OB signed, everything is done. All they have to do is just call when she's ready to, you know, let go of the baby, because she was still holding on and she wasn't ready to let go. So I told her, I said she's not ready to let go. So, but all the paperwork's completed. So whenever she's ready, all you have to do is just, I got everything set up, everything ready at the bedside. All she has to do is just put the baby in and then get the baby, you know, sent to the morgue. But we also called for the chaplain to come in and talk to her if she wanted to talk. But not too long ago, we had a training program that, you know, covered palliative care and how as nurses, you know, the things that we can go through. And I was so happy that we had that class, because it just answered a lot of the questions that I had. And, you know, like, it made me feel okay knowing that I did everything that I could, and I wasn't really doing anything to make the mom feel bad, because it's so much sadness, so much frustration, sometimes guilt, because a lot of times the moms blame themselves, thinking this is maybe their fault. So I was happy that we did that training. And as nurses, we have to find ways to care for ourselves, and sometimes just put our own feelings aside and find ways to help us cope, because even though the patients are going through this, but you are kind of dealing with this yourself, and it's not about us and all, but it's hard dealing with something like this. But that was my experience the first time that I cared for an IUFD. And by morning, when I was ready to leave, the patient, you know, seemed pleased. She gave me a smile, and I just said sorry for your loss, and I wished her all the best. And then that morning was like not a good morning, because I was just still filled with all this emotions and making sure that I did, everything I could for this mom. But this is what I have to share, and just find ways to help yourself. If you pray, whatever it is, because sometimes we have our own beliefs, our own values, and our own cultural, stuff, but we have to always try to put them aside and make the patient the focus, because this is, about them. They're the ones going through the loss, and we're just there to basically support them and help them, make this process a little bit easier, because it's already so hard on them, and you just want to help to make it a bit easier for them as they mourn their loss. All right, but thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up, and drop your comments below. All right, if there's anything else you want to add, but I appreciate you. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Okay, thank you. Stay blessed. Bye.